I want to say a massive thank you to Wesley Long as well for joining the space at the start and being patient and waiting the hour and supporting. Wesley Long is, I believe, the founder of FateLabz, which we're super excited to feature tonight. It's an amazing ecosystem. You're not going to want to miss this. They are doing some revolutionary things in the industry. Super excited to learn all about it. So yeah, without further ado, Wesley, welcome to the stage and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks very much for having us. I've got another team member here, Ian. I don't know if he's requested to speak or not, or if he's going to be able to speak. But
yeah, nice. Get the request. Either way, we'll get him up, definitely.
Yeah, we've got a few of our team members in here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get them all up.
So for those, sure. For those who want to follow along, we're broadcasting this on YouTube as well. So you can go to my profile and click on the YouTube stream. I have the Twitter Space audio on top of it, so we should be able to all hear everything and see everything. Kind of the one thing I don't like about Twitter Space is just the ability to present things is kind of lacking. Pinning tweets is not as straightforward as it should be. So I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there before we get things started.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, and that's awesome. We appreciate you doing that. That is epic. And yeah, we always create these into podcasts. Mike Smart from Meta Builders does that and upload them to the Meta Builders YouTube. So when that is put together, we will always send that out to you guys, tag you in it, and make sure we promote that like crazy also.
Perfect. So that was a very interesting, very interesting project, the ape reunion. A lot of talk of NFTs and the kind of different things you can do with NFTs. I think it dovetails well with the conversation that we're about to have. Because we have, like you said, we have built some pretty interesting technology that's pretty unique in the space, and it involves NFTs. So I don't know if you just want to jump right into it, or how you want me to just start the pitch and then work from there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do it however you want. You've got an hour to break down your entire ecosystem. If you want to introduce yourself a little bit, talk about you and your team, maybe how you started off your journey, or if you want to dive straight in, however you prefer to do it, then that's absolutely fine with us.
Okay, well, as I said, my name is Wesley Long, the CEO and lead dev for FateLabz. We've got Ian, who is the head of our business development, along with us. We've basically been around for the better part of 2 years. We started off, we actually took over a couple of projects and kind of combined them into one, and have been together with the core team for better part of 2 years. As I said, there's 9 of us. We're all over the world. I myself am in Canada. I've got at least 3 or 4 team members in the United States, one in the United Kingdom, another one in Romania, and another one in Brazil. And all of us have basically been together for the better part of 2 years. We're all fully doxed. We've been just grinding and building some really interesting stuff. So when we talk about NFTs, right? And I'm not going to get into the technicalities because I have a big problem with getting too technical sometimes. But I'm just going to say that all this artwork and all these things that we do online, these pictures and these graphics and these cartoons, it's all intellectual property. It's all IP, right? And managing intellectual property and digital assets has been a problem since the inception of the internet. And we're trying to build utilities and tools and services that help people manage that. The stuff that you post on Facebook is intellectual property. It drives value for Facebook or for YouTube or for Twitter. It makes these companies money. And you may not think that your content matters. It's not significant enough to make Twitter that much money or Facebook that much money. But that's not true. The reality is that everything we do online all drives the network effect that creates the huge amount of revenue that these companies generate. It's coming from us. We provide the value to these networks. So we want to build tools and utilities that allow us to take control and custody of our intellectual property and the things we do online, and benefit directly from that, be the benefactor of that monetization. So we relaunched our token and what we call our IVN system just over a month ago. Within the first month, we went from a 246K market cap up to more than $1 million. We're only a small project. We've only got 139 holders. But our ecosystem And I'll just jump right to this slide here, actually, because this slide really kind of, in a nutshell, brings it all together. Okay, so when we talk about what we call IVNs, okay, that stands for intrinsically valued non-fungible token. Okay, it's what NFT should have been in the first place, and effectively all it is it's an NFT with money inside of it. That's it. Rather than you minting, paying $100 or 0.1 ETH or 1 ETH to mint an NFT, and you only being able to make money if you're able to resell that. That's a problem. And with IVNs, when you mint your IVN, you actually get a 60% rebate right off the hop, and that's used to back the initial value of your IVN. Okay, and then from there it only appreciates, and it appreciates through ecosystem activity, right? Ecosystem activity could be people buying the token, minting new IVNs, redeeming IVNs, selling IVNs, and then something that we call actions, right? Now, actions is everything that we do. When we like something on Facebook, that's an action. When we comment on something on Facebook, that's an action. These are all actions. Now, right now, as far as we're concerned, we only have likes. We're going to soon have comments. We have a bounty action. We're building up our roadmap of actions and how to incorporate them. But every action is a monetizable event, right? So if you create an IVN with your picture or your cartoon, and you get 100 people to like it, well, that's 100 people that are paying you X amount to like that image, and you're getting most of that value. Okay, and on top of that, the way the distribution works is it balances out. Everybody gets an equal distribution to a certain degree, right? Now, obviously, if your stuff is more liked or more popular, you're going to make more than the next guy. But there's a baseline appreciation to all IVNs, right? And they all appreciate over time. There's no subtractive feature to this either, so it only ever goes up. So based on the underlying asset, you're in a situation where your value, for the most part, will always go up. Again, there's some volatility with the price of BNB or ETH, but if you were to do this with stable coins, it might be less volatile. And just to flip some perspective on this, we're not just building this we're building other revenue models or other revenue streams to bring into the ecosystem. So we're not just reliant on volume from our token or volume from minting, right? Or the actions that are happening. Like, we're doing as much as possible to bring revenue into the system through our services like 3Pay, Authmark. We're building a social network. We're building a predictive kind of NFT game called F.A.T.E, which is going to be around sports and games and things like that. And you're going to be able to predict and create IVNs based on those predictions. So, if you're watching the YouTube screen, you can see that I've got like a little NBA thing here, and I'm just punching in some predictions on a game. And once I make those predictions, it creates an image. Now I can turn that image into an IVN and then back that with some value. So if my prediction turns out to be accurate, I get scored based on that accuracy. And that's going to help the sentimental value go up, which would get me more likes and potentially drive more revenue to my IVN. It kind of all helps flow with the actions and the things that we already do online. So I think that was pretty long-winded to start it off, but Nomad, are you able to speak yet? She says she's connecting. Okay. Any questions so far? How's that making sense?
Yeah, I mean, as I understand it, what you're doing is you're encapsulating value into that NFT, so the NFT has some sort of intrinsic value.
Correct, and it only ever goes up from there, and you can redeem it at any time. It's backed 1-to-1, right? So, if you need to sell, you can't sell it, nobody's buying it, then you could just go to the Shield page and literally redeem the value directly. So you don't have to rely on being able to sell it on a third-party marketplace. Obviously, you can, and you might even be able to make more money with your IVN selling it on third-party marketplaces, because you can mark up the value. If you have an IVN that's worth $100, level 6, this X amount of days old, you may be able to sell that for $300-400 on open market. right? And the great thing is that you actually get to keep most of that extra money that you make off of it, because the fees are only taken off of the intrinsic value of the IBM. So if you sold that $100 IBM for $300, you would only end up paying $10 in fees for the IBM being transferred to a new person, while you still get to make the $300. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does actually. It's pretty incredible. But yeah, and when you was mentioning before about getting technical, you know, please get as technical as you can, because the more technical you get, the more we can understand this. You know, this is why we're super excited about the space tonight with you guys, because, you know, we've heard a lot about you from Talk and Trip, which thank you, Trip, for introducing us to Wesley. And we've also heard about it as well from Nathan Hill, who may even be joining us a bit later on in the space. So yeah, please be as technical as you can, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely not shy on details. So, I mean, the way things work is pretty interesting for a lot of reasons. And if you think back to the conversation that you had previous to when we came up, you know, there was a lot of talk of people getting wrecked and getting rugged, and you know, I mean, NFTs and crypto projects, we all have to identify the problems, and we have to be honest about it. We have to reflect, and we have to be honest about what the problems are in this space. Okay, one of the major problems is that this, you know, this getting rugged aspect of things, both in the NFTs and in tokens. I'm not sure entirely how to deal with it, but as far as NFTs are concerned, what IBNs really do is they make it in such a way so that if you have a person that's of high visibility, like a celebrity, a musician, an athlete, a Hollywood star, doesn't matter, right? You know, they're most likely afraid to attach themselves to any NFT project because of what it can do to their reputation, right? You know, it's that sentimental side of things, because value has multiple components, right? You got sentimental value, you've got actual hard cost value, you've got intrinsic value, you've got market value, right? So all these celebrities, they're afraid to attach their reputation to these things, right? Because they don't want people to lose their assets. So here we've got a system that allows people to participate all together, including the celebrities, and they don't have to worry about, you know, tarnishing their reputation that much, because the dev could walk away from a project and the intrinsic value of those IBNs remains. You know, we can't touch those, right? And anybody that launches collections on a sub IBN platform, they can't touch the value of those IBNs, right? The dev gets access to the treasury, and that's it. So everybody's IBNs and everybody's funds are effectively in their control and their control only. Therefore, they're never going to go to zero. They're never going to get rugged. The worst possible case scenario, and this is a race condition, and this is only if you mint your IBN and immediately redeem it before anything else happens. So under that worst possible race condition scenario, you're walking away with 50% of what you went in with. And there's not a lot of projects in this space or in this world that can say that.
Yeah, this is huge.
But every project that mints through the IBN system would be able to say that, correct?
Correct. Providing you're meeting the standards and the protocols, absolutely. And we can't stop people from forking the contract and making their modifications to it. But this is an idea we want to spread. We want people to adopt, you know, responsible management of funds when it comes to these projects, right? And we want these projects to succeed. So if somebody launches a collection on a sub IBN, that's kind of a tier down, right? So we have any collection that's not ours is considered a sub IBN. That's not the official Fate Shield. It's a sub IBN. Those collections, you know, they have to adhere to the same standards and the same protocols, right? They can tweak certain things if depending on their application and how they want it to work. But there's certain fundamentals that can't change, i.e. that initial rebate, right? People should feel sound in knowing that their value isn't going to be completely lost. And it's really that simple. So that's the protocol and the standard if we're gonna allow projects to launch an official sub IBN. Okay. And then even with the transaction fees that come from that sub IBN, You know, we do make some fees off of that, but we're not taking it from the value of the holders. We're taking it from the treasuries, right? So if a treasury is making $100 a day, then we're making $3 a day that's coming back into our ecosystem, right? So we're not affecting or negatively impacting the holders of the overall project, because we want these projects to succeed. The idea is that this makes things more sustainable. It makes things more sustainable for the people that are holding and the people that are participating and the community members, but it also makes things more sustainable for the devs and for the owners of these projects, right? Because now the pressure it's not that they don't have the pressure; they still have to perform. They still have to build and do what they're supposed to do. But there's a sense of security there. There's a sense of stability. There's a solid floor that you can work with, right?
I noticed that we had a question, and maybe we might want to answer a question before we continue moving on to the other aspects.
Absolutely.
Yes, as it goes, I met Wes quite some time ago, and the things he's saying, like to put this into perspective, this is more of a statement from my end. What he's doing here, from what I thought, is if this could be implemented into every NFT project, every project that's a business, you now have a protection level that's second to none. And he's right, you can't stop people from forking it, but if you're in this ecosystem and people are a part of that group, now we're all collaborating together, we're all working together to a common goal of doing things a better way. And that's what I loved about what he could do. Yeah, he only has so many holders in there, and if you're not, like, understand that these things, if we can get this type of thing put out there, this is what's going to make a change for the world, in our crypto world. It's going to hold people accountable, because it does.
Right.
You know? That's all I have to say. Good. Keep up the great work, man.
No, this is
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
this is Ian here. I'm the business development. I just want to add to that statement. It's effectively, think of like if OpenSea gave people rebates on every time they minted or bought NFTs, right? And then if there was a rug project or something, you know, an NFT that was minted on OpenSea or listed on OpenSea, and OpenSea said, "Oh, this project, the dev walked away or something like that. Oh, don't worry, hit redeem and burn, and you can get X amount of percentage of your mint feedback." That's essentially what we've created.
Right. And I think it provides peace of mind to the holders, but like I said, it reduces the pressure on the whole system. And I'll give you a really good example. You know, people are always, when it comes to a token, for example, we have a token paired with the IVN, and the token people are often stressed about because they're worried about people dumping the charts, right? And then you have the situation where, you know, people are complaining about getting rugged, but at the same time, they're making these plays on the daily, right? So if you could take what I call your comfort level of risk and kind of turn that into a system where, you know, you had $100 and you were okay with like being super risky with 30 of it, and 70 of it you want to do something safe, right? Well, then you would buy an IVN and Fate token, and what that would allow you to do is have access to the $70 if you ever need it, so that you're not dumping the chart, right? And you don't have to worry about the price movement on the $70. It's only ever going to go up. Now your $30 may go up or down depending on what the chart's doing, but know that whether the chart's going up or whether it's going down, that's benefiting your IVN, because that's how rewards work. This is like a much more advanced reward system for both the token and for NFTs. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just kind of one of the ways I like to think of it.
I mean, it's a pretty crazy idea. You know, it's crazy, but it's not. It's almost like why hasn't someone come up with this already? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, very much so, and that's why we say right off the bat, you know, this is what NFT should have been in the first place. Now, crypto is just the dot-com bubble, right? For any of us that have been around for the dot-com bubble or got to see that, I mean, that was equally as bad, if not worse. You know, you saw $3 trillion disappear, It go poof, right? There was all kinds of weird .coms, pet sites, and animals, and everybody was terrified of putting their credit card number into the internet. The internet itself was the scam. So here we're in a situation where we're basically going through deja vu. It's the same thing happening on repeat, right? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes, and this is definitely a rhyme, right? You have a space where everything's being considered a scam because everybody's acting so reckless, effectively. Again, if we're being honest, that's what's going on, right? And enough people aren't standing up and saying, we can't do this, right? So we have to look at ways to actually build better and fairer systems that fix some of the problems that we're witnessing day by day by day. And that's what we've spent the last 2 years doing. We've got another service called FreePay. That was our flagship product last year. And this is a crypto payment solution that you can set up and use as your social hub. Use for all your information, all your links. It's kind of like a link tree, but I don't like saying link tree. It's more of a social tree, or it's more of your personal data hub, right? Because you can have everything there, and it incorporates crypto payments, so people can pay you from your FreePay page, right? You can buy handles, and when you buy your handle or your username, you're paying a one-time fee. You're not stuck with this $8, $12 a monthly subscription, right? You're buying an asset, you own it. And that's effectively how we're treating all of our services and systems, is that everything that you buy or that you pay for, you own. And just to break it down even in more detail, for those who are watching the stream, we're working on an update, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to show, where did the detail go? Wait, did that page? Man,
While you're
it
doing
looks like
that, Ian, you've got your hand up, my friend.
Yeah,
moment.
I just wanted to add something in regards to a couple of the statements. The .com bubble, right? 90%, 95% of all of the .com projects disappeared, but we saw some massive innovations come out of it. All the massive companies that are still here today, came out of the .com bubble, and that's what we're going to see in crypto. A lot of 95, more than that, % of these projects aren't going to last, a year, let alone a few months or even a few weeks at this rate. But the innovation that's going to come out of all of this insanity is going to last and is going to set the tone for what's around the corner. And also, I wanted to touch on 3Pay a little bit. We talked about the social link system aspect of it. It also, with our easy link and embed system, you can essentially copy a line of code that's automatically generated through our 3Pay system and turn any website Web3 compatible. So someone who's not really fluent in cryptocurrency blockchain technologies can literally copy and paste a line of code, embed it onto their website, and automatically allow people to pay for goods and services in cryptocurrency. That's just one of the products that we've created. And our goal behind all the products that we've been establishing are, how do we onboard more users in a safe environment? How do we make things easier to understand? Because it's so much easier. The way to onboard people into crypto who don't care about crypto is give them the option to be paid in crypto. That's the easiest way, because they might not care at all. But if someone randomly sends them, oh, I want to buy something using Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Polygon, or whatever it is, and they happen to see some ETH show up in their wallet because someone bought something off their website, they're going to be like, oh, crap, I got some ETH in my wallet. I don't know what ETH is. I don't know anything about it, but it might encourage them to want to learn more and educate themselves on cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to get people to understand crypto is to get people to use it. The best way to get into crypto is to start taking payments in crypto, literally. That's how you start to understand everything. And just to circle back a little bit on the internet and the .com bubble specifically, I've got a slide up right now. It's kind of detailed. There's a lot of math. You can ignore most of it and just understand one thing, and that is, on average, each of us spend about $7.75 per day using the internet, and we spend 28.8% of our time. Okay, so what everybody used to think was a scam has now become 15.3% of the global GDP, right? Because your device has a cost. It has a cost in physical form. It has a cost for the power to keep it on and the data to keep it connected. Plus, because you're using 28% of your day, you may have to throw in a cup of coffee or a meal into that cost, right? So you're looking at about 15.3% of the global GDP, right? That's about 2 cents per minute that we all pay on average, right? And we pay that using services that say that they're free, but that take all of the value that we post to the internet to begin with. You know, because it's that content that's driving traffic. It doesn't matter whether you're a big influencer or a small person with a small circle of friends. You post something, you're driving those people online. You're driving them to see your stuff, which is going to see ads. It's going to everything, all the monetization that's attached to it. So, and these formulas are actually built into this IVN system. Like you actually get, as part of the growth mechanism for your IVN, you get credit, like a GDP rebate for the costs that you're paying to use your phone, to do the transaction, right? Like we've broken it down to that level of detail so that every transaction that you do, you're getting back a rebate of some sort.
Hello, Nathan. How's it going, buddy? Did you want to jump in there?
Hey, gentlemen. How are we all?
Hey, Nathan, good to see you, my friend. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, sorry it's taken me so long, just meeting after meeting after meeting. Absolute nightmare. I thought I was going to miss it. I'm like, I can't miss FateLabz. Can't miss FateLabz. How you doing, Wes? You all right?
I'm doing fantastic, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm brilliant, thank you. I was just going to jump in on something that you said there, Wes, about kind of how to get people into crypto. It's to offer to pay them in crypto. And this was a conversation I was having not so long ago, is the businesses that don't accept crypto, if you gave them the option of actually attracting a new audience that won't pay cash, they will onboard into crypto. So you go, well, okay, there's another, for example, $10,000 worth of business here, but you have to accept crypto in order to do it. It's opening up to another audience. And if they don't run with you, they'll run with the competitor that does kind of accept crypto. So I completely agree with what you're saying there. And it's not giving someone an option of crypto or cash. I think at the point that people start to go, look, I'm happy to pay in crypto, I won't pay in cash, and then put that over to a business that says, well, okay, sorry, we can't accept that. No problem. I'll move on to the next. When people go, okay, I'll pay in cash then, it kind of defeats that whole, the whole object. So I think one thing that I think you guys are doing and what we'll be doing very soon is actually it's the additional business that a business can get through accepting crypto. So you're not saying, well, we're going to dilute your cash with crypto, but we're going to bring you a whole different audience, a new sector of customers that wouldn't have been there unless you accepted crypto.
Right. Right. And we have business accounts for 3PIT. And we're working in IVNs into that system because one of the things that I like to pitch to businesses is that if you're going to accept payments in crypto, whatever your raw cost is for that item, right, the shipping of it or whatever the raw cost is, take that in stablecoin and take whatever the profit is and keep that in some token, right? Something like Bitcoin or BNB or ETH or Matic, something that has a little bit of volatility. It's sort of like the IVN. You stabilize at more than half, right? So you're always guaranteed you're not going to lose money, and then from there you're just trying to make gains on whatever payments you're getting in crypto can all potentially grow. So you could get paid $100 today, and tomorrow wake up and it's 150. If that's an extra source of revenue for a business, right? Plus, for all the customers that they sign up, that come in and that decide to pay with 3Pay, you know, well, now they're potentially getting referral fees on every single member that signs up, right? Especially the premium members, right? Because the premium accounts are $80. So as a business, by accepting 3Pay, you have a referral code. And in fact, any user of 3Pay has a referral code. So even somebody that's using a free account can share 3Pay, get paid by 3Pay, so that they can upgrade to a premium account. So it gives people an extra source of revenue that they otherwise wouldn't have, on top of the ability to expand their market.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you want to go into a bit more depth about 3Pay?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on a new version. The current beta is live. That's been live for about a year. It works really good. It's not perfect, but it works really good. There's definitely some room for improvement, but it's still pretty slick, and there's a lot of interesting things you can do with it. So again, like you can add all your social profile links to it, have kind of a social tree hub. You can literally download it as a V card on your phone for somebody that is visiting on a phone. And you can have like a little tip button or buy me a coffee, things like that, like which are single click, trigger the transaction, easy as possible. And then you've got the payment page itself is actually a checkbook. We base it off of a checkbook so that people understand that this is in fact money. And from there, you basically have a situation where, from like, if you're dealing with multiple chains and you're tracking transactions on multiple chains, then you have to deal with different explorers, right? You know, you're going to ETH scam for this, BSC scam for that. You know, it just becomes, you know, a nest. So with 3Pay, you've got a unified ledger that shows all transactions for any network. So basically, you have one place where you can look. I'm actually having problems loading the page right now for some reason. There it is. You can go through and you can look and see all your transactions cross-chain and see their value in terms of dollars or whatever currency you're going to be able to select. You can put memos, so you can attach descriptions of what you're paying for. You know, it's literally just like a checkbook. And again, we're trying to make it feel like money, because that's, in order to get people to understand crypto, they have to use it, and then in order we want them to use it as money. That's what we want people to think. It's not. There's two sides to this coin, and we used to start the pitch off this way, actually, because there's two sides of crypto. There's investment, and then there's currency. Okay, the investment stuff is one side. The currency is what 3Pay focuses on, right? The investment side is the Fate Shield and the Fate token and other assets that we're building around that line. But the currency side is 3Pay. Like, what do you do with the crypto? What do you do with it? What do you do with all this money you're making, right? You need to be able to buy stuff and pay people and do things. So one of the things that you can think about in terms of like your IVN and 3Pay together. So you may have, because right now, if you wanted to subscribe to something with crypto, there's no really automated way to do it without handing over your seed phrase or private key. And you don't want to do that. So the better way to do it is we could attach subscriptions to an IVN. So it's like having a bank account where you put money in and it sits there paying off your subscription, right? The intrinsic value could be used as a debit to pay for subscriptions. You could use IVNs as collateral for loans, right? And the personal loans are for different kinds of loans. And in doing so, you don't sell the IVN. It just gets locked. And from there, all the appreciation that you would have otherwise received is now going to go to the lender until your loan is paid off. Now, you may have enough appreciation or enough attraction to your IVN or to your NFT that you're making all kinds of money off of it because people are liking it and commenting on it. So you may not even end up having to pay back your loan because the appreciation of all the actions pay it off for you. And then once it's released, you get back your appreciation, you get back full control. So there's lots of different ways that we're trying to integrate, you know, blockchain and payments and currency, but actually in useful, easy methods, things that make sense and that protect people. It's a lot easier said than done, because we all know that crypto has to be easier, right? And we're all describing extremely complicated systems. And the idea is, when we're done, people won't recognize the complication because it's so easy to use. And if they want to drill in and read the manual, it's there. But our goal is to make things as simple and easy to use as possible. And 3Pay right now is probably our best example of that.
I'm going to apologise, Wesley. My fibre, as my telecom company has been in touch and said that it's going to be fixed by Monday, but my Wi-Fi keeps dying. Everyone goes blank. So I apologise if you're talking to me and I don't answer. I'm not being rude.
No,
I just keep getting hit.
I mean, I'm speaking to everybody at the same time, I guess.
Yeah.
Ian's has his hand up. You maybe let Nomad speak there.
Yeah, we got touching on a part of the IVNs that I'm super excited about. So, I mean, the power of IVNs essentially is giving intrinsic value to digital assets. And this opens up some amazing things. Because think about this, especially in VR, AR, metaverse technologies, things that are, booming right now, things that are going to be a massive boom shortly as well. Imagine you're in a augmented reality or a VR or setting, right? And you have a digital watch on your avatar. What if that digital watch was actually worth X amount of dollars, which is what the IVN does, gives intrinsic value to digital assets. Now, take that concept and move it into a metaverse setting, right? Metaverse digital properties, digital land are a pretty big deal, right? Now imagine if a digital piece of property actually had intrinsic value, not just market sentiment value. There's actually $100,000 in a digital land plot or a digital home. Effectively, what that would allow someone to do is put up digital property as collateral because it's intrinsically valued. And you could essentially get a digital home loan using IVN technology, just like what people do in the normal world. People, take, loans against their property to free up money in order for other investment strategies. And that's, you could do the exact same thing utilizing IVN technology, which is one of the things I'm super excited about.
Yeah, and we're using the same type of technology to tokenize real world assets as well. And we're just in the process of figuring out the logistics involved with that. Properties, rental properties, land, things like that, and how we can attach these to IVNs and kind of tokenize everything. Because the value of the IVN, there's a couple of interesting things that happen, right? Think of a marketplace. Somebody posts an item for sale, and it's listed on that marketplace for, let's say a month, 2 months, and it doesn't sell, right? The user is frustrated because they can't sell their item. Their item does have value. We're trying to figure out what it is, but nobody wants, they can't sell it. So what would end up happening is even if it doesn't pay for the item entirely, you're going to build up intrinsic value over time that's posted on the marketplace. And you'll be able to redeem it and get it back. It's the opposite of what happens right now. If you want to post a classified ad and you want it featured, you have to pay for it, right? You're the one that's providing the content for them to get paid in the first place, for them to serve up ads against. And then they get you paying for it as well, if you really want to move things, right? So, we're coming at it from a completely different angle. Like, we're not trying to be the next Facebook or the next Twitter, the next YouTube, because those models are skewed in favor of the organizations. And while it's fine for an organization or business to make profit and to make money, they're utilizing people as just a free resource. Like, we're all basically just cattle that get milked. And then they can't get enough of it. And now they're charging us subscriptions to heat our seats in our car, or to buy a color palette so that we can pick a color. Every little thing they're trying to turn into a subscription service, right? The whole WEF, you will own nothing and be happy type of deal. And I don't know how realistic that actually is. I think that might be their desire, but it's never going to get there because too many people take pride in value the things that they own, right? Things that they can hand down or use to support their families, things like that. They're never, it's never going to get that far, but they're still going to try. And blockchain, and in my opinion, the best thing about blockchain is smart contracts. It's not the currency, it's the smart contracts, because you could build systems that are absolutely free of manipulation if you want to. Now, obviously, everything is heavily manipulated. But I feel like if you want, the technology is there to build systems that aren't as susceptible to manipulation and to volatility. And those are the things that we're honing in on.
Hey, Nathan, I saw you had your hand up for a while.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I didn't want to interrupt, but I was having this conversation about you guys the other day, and what I said to this guy is, look, the one thing we hear as people in crypto over and over again consistently is, oh, crypto, yeah, but that has no value, does it? It's pretend, it's fake, and hearing you guys talking about the property side and everything else, the reason people invest in property, and I know this, I've owned real estate companies for Christ, 15 years. The reason people invest in property is because it has an intrinsic value, that bricks and mortar value. The land has a value, the bricks have a value, the layout increases the value, so on and so forth. Now, with the way, what really excited me about these IVNs is, like you guys said, well, you can actually take loans out because it does have a value. It has an intrinsic value. And I've always looked at these IVNs as like a liquidity pool within NFTs, if you like, in the simplest form. But with token liquidity pools, they will move up and down dependent on who's buying and who's selling. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that I see these liquidity pools is a set liquidity per IVN, per NFT. So that cannot move down. It can only move up.
Correct.
Based on what's in it. So now you have another level. You now have another layer of security. This isn't now a liquidity pool, which if all the whales dump, it's going to pull all the cash out of it. This is your personal liquidity pool all the time you own that IVN. Now, to me, that solves the problem of all of these guys saying, well, it doesn't have an intrinsic value. It's not worth anything. Well, it is, because it's worth the liquidity locked in your IVN. That's what it's worth. That can't change. That's there. And this is, I'd never quite looked at NFTs in this way. I'd never looked at things in this way. It wasn't until we was, and I think I said to you guys, till we were talking to William Quigley, being the founder of Tether. And he said, I don't invest in NFTs like everyone else. I don't do these pretty pictures. NFTs aren't being used as they should be used.
Right.
Well, this was a conversation that we'd had with him. Literally, Christ, a week, 2 weeks before we come across you guys. And we haven't had I haven't had another conversation with him since, but it was going to be something on our next call to go, look, what do you think of this? Because this is exactly what he's saying. This is what NFTs should be doing.
Right.
They should be utilized. They shouldn't just be buy a pretty picture and hope you can sell it for more than what you pay for it. It's so much bigger than that.
Well, if you think of it, it's more in line with the real world for a lot of ways, right? Like if you, even a car has value right down to its last mile, right? Because you can always scrap it for parts, right? There's always extractable value from all the assets that we own in the real world.
But let's say the logbook. Let's say down the line, the logbook of that car could be an IVN.
Absolutely.
that would have a value within it, for argument's sake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the same is true for your house. You know, you could have a log of all the repairs and modifications and upgrades you've made to your house in an IBN. Any kind of digital, any kind of asset in the real world, you can tokenize with an IBN. And again, we're honing in on these things, but there's a lot of capabilities that they open up.
I mean, I think when it comes to the payment gateway side of that, I mean, as I said to you, we're bordering on kind of weeks away from launching CMC Pay. But the reason we're launching that is we already have maybe 10,000 retailers ready to accept it and utilize it, which will be a huge plus for the crypto industry. A huge plus, because it's going to add volume that never ordinarily would have been there. And the more people that have these payment gateways that are utilizing them for the right reasons, I think is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's important that we get people to use crypto as money.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was speaking to someone the other day, and I'd said, I was trying to explain crypto, and they said, yeah, but it doesn't have. I said, right, well, look, the pound doesn't have value anymore. The dollar doesn't have. The pound is a promissory note. 100 years ago, you could walk into a bank with your £10, and on the front of the £10, it says, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of £10. Now, that has a value of gold. Now, you cannot walk into any bank in the UK and go, could I have my £10 worth of gold? They'll go, what? No. But ultimately, that's what a currency is. It's a promise of gold, rather than you having to hold your gold. So I said to them, well, look, does the pound, the only value that the pound has and the dollar is what you can spend it on, what you can trade it against. And they went, right. I said, so let's say in 5 or 10 years, you could trade crypto against everything that you can in real currency. Does it have the same value? He said, but it doesn't exist. I said, but your wages are paid into your account digitally. You then spend it on a card digitally. You'd never need to touch another note in your life. So what's the difference? And he went, well, I see what you're saying. It makes complete sense now. You've explained it in that way.
Right.
If I could add something to this combo, because I know we're running out of time and I want to be cognizant of the time restraints here. Going back to, the IVN itself, and we were talking about the types of assets, right? I mean, we're about to launch our sub IVN system. We already have people who are wanting to launch their own sub IVNs, and some of them are video content. We have a couple of musicians who want to launch audio content on it. I mean, we even have adult content creators looking to launch static images and video adult content with it. There's you can do whatever you want with it, and it's essentially instant NFT gamification built inside the IVN technology, with bounty pool system, with likes and comments, with, already built in. So for people considering or wanting to launch an NFT, I would highly, encourage them to do more research on IVN, the thing that we're building, and consider launching their own sub IVN. And it provides peace of mind for the holders. It's peace of mind for themselves, because if something goes wrong, people have access to their money and can burn and redeem it whenever they want. How many times, I'm sure everyone in here has heard of, or sadly been part of, an NFT mint where sometimes the image doesn't even get launched. They do a pre-sale, and then the dev goes, dev died, right? Or whatever the story might be at the time. And he just runs off with the entire mint wallet. you know, and it shouldn't be like that.
No.
And that's why I'm super excited about what IVNs are capable of in regards to the different types of assets they hold, and also just another new level of security that the NFT space has never before.
Well, I would say scalability too, because a lot of NFTs that offer royalties or tokens that offer rewards, they're only limited to a certain supply, and they have to do that because otherwise it becomes too costly to do transactions. And we've been working on an update that removes that barrier and allows this to scale from a collection of 100 up to 100,000 or even 1 million potential. So it's going to be a lot cheaper to interact and a lot cheaper to do things while still maintaining the utility that we've built with the IVN.
Yeah, which I think is absolutely incredible. And I just wanted to quickly throw in there, don't worry about the time as well. We're always happy to, have spaces run longer, especially when there are incredible topics and there's a lot to dive into. So, I appreciate you having respect towards the time frame, but we're more than happy to overrun. So, yeah, don't worry about that side of it. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, I'd be curious if anybody has any questions at this point. We have been speaking for the better part of an hour. There's been a lot to kind of digest, just from the audience in general. Is there any questions or comments or things that you don't think we touched on?
Well, one thing I know we didn't touch on, which is also what I would like to add, is soon we're going to have the capability of being able to marry existing NFT projects with IVN technologies. So
Right.
essentially, if you were part of a rugged NFT project or an NFT that has no real market sentiment value and it's hard to sell, this technology could allow you to bring utility to a dead NFT project. Or not even necessarily a dead NFT project. Maybe it's a thriving NFT project and it's going really good. People want to add a new sense of utility to it, a new form of utility, and it could be easily accomplished through our technology.
Yeah, so you can attach any payload of assets to an IVN, and technically speaking, we can do other NFTs, different tokens. You can think of it as literally as a piggy bank or a safety deposit box, because effectively that's what it is, and only you have the key. The contract itself is coded specifically that way, so that the treasury or the devs do not have access to your assets at all.
I would also like to add, we don't even have access to it. So there you go.
Right. Yeah. That's what I mean. I mean that for myself. I mean that for any dev that decides to be a part of the IVN ecosystem.
Questions, comments, concerns, or sarcastic remarks?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's welcome. If anyone does have any questions, please do raise your hand. And if you're not already on stage, we'll be more than happy to get you up on stage. But yeah, I was going to ask as well. So, how did this come about for you guys? What was it that really triggered this IVN system that you guys have been building on?
I mean, it started with the reward tokens for me. I really liked certain aspects of the reward token, but it wasn't done correctly. Like it was imbalanced. It was too top heavy. Meaning, if you had a bigger bag, then you got most of the rewards and everybody else got squat or barely anything. And we tried a couple iterations of this in terms of a token, tried to jam all this functionality into a token, and it just wasn't working. I couldn't figure out a way to jam all this complication, all this into one contract, into just a token. So we started working with NFTs, and I immediately identified that the NFT contract itself is just a better way to contract, a better way to write smart contracts. It serves a little bit better a lot of different things that you can't do with a token. You can keep things off chart, so you could do a lot of interesting things to help people gain value or to earn rewards without damaging a chart. I started to identify these things right off the hop, and that it basically evolved into into IVNs over the course of, I want to say 5-6 months from the time that, we really decided that we were gonna merge the two tokens and launch a whole new token, a whole new system. So it took us about 6 months to build the system we have right now. I would say it took a little longer than that because we had other iterations of what we called the F.A.T.E contract, which was just a token. It didn't use NFTs, didn't use IVNs. It was literally just extremely complicated tokenomics and shock protection taxes and all these various things that just became too convoluted and made the contract really difficult to work with. So we just simplified the token, took all the heavy lifting off of the token and put it into the IVN so that all the stuff that matters happens off chart. The chart is going to be the chart. The token's going to be volatile. People are going to trade it up and down and up and down. And the benefit with the IVN, and that's why we call it Fate Shield, is because it shields your value. It allows you to be in a position where, you could choose what comfort level you have with risk. I showed a screen there earlier, and I'm going to pull up here again now. You can share, you can kind of figure out what your level of risk is. If you want to go 50-50, if you want to go 70-30, you can lock up most of your value in an IVN and just play a little bit on the token. Or you can flip that and go all in the token and all in the IVN. And we're working on systems that'll even allow you to top up your IVN through the token in such a way that it doesn't over negatively impact the chart. So if somebody wants to bag out, but they don't necessarily want to damage their other positions that they have or the project itself, they could do it a different way in such a way that doesn't hurt the chart because people are so concerned about the chart. Like I myself personally, I try not to look at the chart. I don't care whether we're in a bull market or a bear market. My mindset is exactly the same. We're building and we're looking to build actual revenue streams, regardless of what market we're in. But I know a lot of people do pay attention to the chart, and people, it's a psychology thing. Like people get stressed right out. When should I sell? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. What should I do? Even with the IVNs themselves, people are trying to figure out the best strategy, right? It's a very stressful thing when you're dealing with, investing in all these projects where you don't know what's going to happen, and there's very little in place to protect you. So you're missing sleep. You're watching charts all the time. You're doing all this stuff to keep track of your value, so that you can get out when if something happens. And sometimes you can't even do that. So this gives you a solid way to deal with those issues and to kind of reduce the stress, of dealing with these projects.
If I could just add to that as well, when we talk about how our IVN system is integrated with our token chart or with our token, effectively anyone, it depends on certain aspects of a smart contract, but let's say there's a dev team out there who launched a token and they want to add more utility. They can even do what we did and connect, an IVN collection to their chart. So a portion of taxes on the token go to distributions on the IVN, and mints and redeems on the IVN go to buybacks on an existing chart. And that's because that's how we have it set up with ours. And we can set that same thing with other projects.
And I think that's a good time to highlight there's an interesting dynamic between the IVN and the token. And that is the IVN is backed 1-to-1. So people can redeem their value without affecting anybody else negatively. It's like they're in a vacuum. The only thing it does do is it pumps everybody else's IVN, and it even pumps the chart, as Nomad suggested, it does buybacks. So the interesting thing is that if there was a bank run on the IVN, it would pump the chart. If there's a bank run on the chart, it would pump the IVNs. So you kind of have this kind of scale effect between the IVN and the token, where they both support each other. And then you couple that with real world revenue streams like 3Pay or F.A.T.E or AuthorMark. When these things come online, FiBuddy, we're also working on some hardware that's 3 to 5 years out at least, but it's on the roadmap. When these things come online, they're only going to help contribute to that whole ecosystem, right? Literally 40% of the profits that we generate as an organization will go back directly into the IVN for distributions and bounties and buybacks, etc. So we've got a very equalized ecosystem between the development team, the core team and the ownership, and then the community at large. And just to give you context of what that means, for every $100 that we make as an organization, right, $40 of that goes back to the community holders directly, right? 40%, the other 40% of that is split between the ownership and the team, effectively. So we're basically splitting the entire ecosystem with the community, in every possible way that we can. And all the distributions and fees, they all go through the same formula. So it's all the same. And when it gets right down to it, as far as where the money comes from, doesn't matter. For every dollar that gets put into our ecosystem, 40 cents of that dollar is going back to the holder's value in some capacity, either directly or through bounties and buybacks.
When you're talking about that 40%, is that into the token or is that back into the IVNs?
No, when I talk in terms of 40%, I'm not talking like the token tax, for example, is only 5%, right? So it's not 40%. But the revenue that's generated from the token or from the IVNs or from our actual real world businesses, right? From a percentage point, that revenue, 40% of that revenue or that profit is what I'm talking about specifically. There's also a 40% rebate when you first mint your IVN, right? So you whatever value you start off at, whatever value you decide you want to mint for, there's a 40% rebate on that final value. So you get that. That's what's used to back your initial value, right? But that's a different 40%. That 40% is what is considered revenue in that case, and that's what gets distributed according to 40% of that goes back toward holders, and the rest is distributed to bounties and token buybacks and to the development team, the treasurer. So again, we don't collect a lot of fees from the IVN itself or the token. They're very modest fees because we don't anticipate wanting to lean on the IVN or the token sheerly for volume and for revenue. This is why we have 3Pay, Authormark, Fate Social, Fate Picks. We're going to have advertisements. We've got hardware that we're working on. These things are going to generate real world revenue, 40% of which is going to go back into the ecosystem.
I just think it's a genius idea. I just think it's got a really cool use case. You're encapsulating value and then trading that based on other metrics.
Right.
Sorry, I'll keep jumping in now, guys. I'm so sorry. The one question that I was going to ask, Wes, mainly on behalf of everyone else, is how does your token fit into the mix in regards to?
We lost you, Nathan.
I think I got the gist of the question, though. So the token itself will have utility as well, and we've been planning this utility for some time now. We're working on a social network. We're starting it and doing it a little bit different than everybody else because we're building it literally from the ground up. Nothing is being forked. We're coming up with completely new systems. We're looking at it from completely new angles as far as how the architecture, how the structure, and how the monetization needs to work. All of these various elements, how things are discovered. And we're pairing the Fate token with a point system called Karma. Karma will in effect be also a sub-IVN. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to use Fate tokens and Karma to interact with Fate Social. And that will translate the value that you contribute or the benefits that you get out of that value that you contribute back into your own IVNs. So the token itself will become a vehicle, it will become a currency, so to speak, throughout the ecosystem. Of course, we'll accept ETH and BNB and MATIC and other currencies as well, but the Fate token will be one of the primary currencies throughout the ecosystem as well. So you can always use Fate token to purchase anything, or you can convert your Karma points into Fate tokens and then purchase something. It's kind of another element to the whole Fate Shield, Fate token side of things.
Well, I think that's a great point. I think that's a great point. And I think that, you know, the, 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 the,
that make sense?
Yeah, I totally get it. So I just think it's fucking mind blowing. It's because it's such a simple concept. It's such a simple concept the way it works. I think it's quite easy to understand.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute game changer. You're absolutely right, because to add that level of value and to prevent an asset from ever going to zero, and creating a system in which gives security to people like, let's say, celebrities, for example, like you said, because of the worry of how it may affect their reputation, and the way that it can also add a lot of security to communities and people that are looking for long-term investments. I think it's absolutely groundbreaking. Um, big respect for this. I think it's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, we're pretty hyped about it. We have our weekly meetings every Sunday, and they typically last anywhere from 2 up to 4 or 5 hours sometimes, because we're going through the different possibilities and variables that we can accomplish with this. I mean, there's definitely a larger apparatus at play here. Excuse me. And what's really interesting to me is kind of like the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. We're all excited about what we're building, but I'm really, really curious as to what other people will build this technology as well, because of what this allows, right? It opens up the door for so many possibilities, way too many that we can't develop everything, you know. So it's interesting when you think about, if this becomes a true platform where everybody's kind of deploying their own IBN systems and their own collections. They've all got slightly different dynamics. Some are games, some are just art collections, some are video collections, some are tutorials, some are books. All these different things. It's just gonna empower people. It's gonna empower developers and everyday people to participate in all these various systems.
Can I ask, Wes, the phrase IVN, that's something that you've coined, isn't it? That's your...
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm looking at this, and again, these guys here all know I look at everything from a marketing angle. But that phrase, the more it's spread around, the more big players that hear about this IVN, it will then become like EVM, do you know what I mean? It becomes its own, it kind of takes on its own life, if you know what I mean.
So, yeah, I hope so. I think,
I think that's where it will go. That's where I believe it will go.
I hope so. I think NFTs, everybody knows what NFTs are as far as the people in the crypto space and even people that aren't in the crypto space, because of the bad headlines. And the moment a mainstream person that doesn't have any involvement with crypto sees an NFT project, their first reaction is usually to run. So we need to switch up the channel a little bit. The NFT technology at its core is sound. NFTs have been capable of this entire time. I really don't think there's anything magical about the idea of pairing actual money with the NFT. It's just, it hasn't been done before for whatever reason. So I'm thankful for the fact that we have the opportunity to do it, and even more that we actually have executed on it and have it working. And it's an interesting technology, and we're really excited about it. We're excited about it for ourselves and for the entire ecosystem, for the entire crypto space, because it really does. We do really think it's going to change the rules, and hopefully people will look at IVNs completely different out of the gate, and it'll give a fresh perspective on what NFTs can be used for, what smart contracts can be used for. Because it's the smart contracts that's really the shining underlying star, right? The ability to be able to create a set of rules that everybody has to follow, and making it level and fair for everybody.
As a publication, we kind of push and champion people in the space that are going to change the industry, that are growing the industry, not a specific project that you go, oh, that can 1000x. There's hundreds of projects that can do that. But people that can change the industry as it's seen, that's kind of what we look at supporting. And when we come across you guys, I think within 24 hours, I was over here in this group saying, guys, have you heard of IVNs? And they go, well, no. Look, we've got to get these guys in here. This is and I think I explained to you, Wesley, the guys here are, in my opinion, from the bottom of my heart, they're immense, hugely humble, and will not accept anything. They're all content creators. That's what they do. They create content. They may have 500 followers. They may have 5,000, 10, 20,000, but they're here for the right reasons. And what they're trying to do with the community of communities, to me, is amazing. It's kind of, and the people I'm speaking to, I'm saying, look for that plus. Look for the plus in front of someone's Twitter name or Telegram name. Because if you see it, and it's kind of like an unwritten rule, if you see that plus, you know they've been vetted by people and they're supported by the real investors within crypto. And I know I've spoken to Bacon and Rev and Tony and all of these guys, and they're all offered money to shill, and they just won't.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to say, hat off to these guys for doing what they're doing. And if there's anyone in here that hasn't got that plus, just add it just in front of your Telegram name or whatever, because they use that whole philosophy. If you've got the plus, you're one of us. And I happily added it for all of my companies.
I like that.
And it's I'm hoping to push this with everyone that I'm speaking to go, guys, if you want to find a good project, look for the plus. Just look for the plus, and you know it's been vetted. You know there's huge people behind this, content creators, people that believe in it, and hence the name, the community of communities. So I'm so happy to see you guys over here, and I think Mickey jumped well ahead of me, but I was saying to you and him, like, look, I need to get you in the community of communities. These guys will they'll support, and they'll really get behind you in a massive way. And to me, it's not about these kind of AMAs. Isn't about having 1 million people or 500,000 people listening. It's about going, well, if you've got 20 people, and those 20 people have 10,000 followers each, and those 10,000 followers believe in what those 20 people are saying, now you've got access to an audience of 200,000. And they're not charging a penny. They're not scamming. Well, and I love it. I think they're brilliant at what they do, and I'm a huge supporter of them over here.
I mean, that sounds fantastic. And to one of your points earlier that you were making about some of these people, small content creators, and they might not be millions of followers, but that's not the point. The point is we're all contributing, every one of us. Even if you're not creating content, if you're commenting and liking things, you're still contributing value to everything that we're doing on the internet. And what's great about the IVNs, just one last point I'd like to make about this, is that it doesn't matter the size of creator you are. There's no threshold of subscribers or followers that you have to reach before you can start monetizing your content or what you're doing. You can start right now. You don't need any number of followers. The mechanisms that we're building it open access so that people can literally start from nothing and work their way into the system. So if that's what they choose to do. So people that can't afford anything, for example, they might find a way to generate revenue through our systems and through our platform, right? And they don't have to worry about reaching 1,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers before being able to do that. And I think that that's important because it'll empower a lot of smaller creators and help them grow. Because creating content is not free. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and often a lot of cost with the equipment and the things that people buy to be able to create content. And YouTube and Facebook, they don't have an appreciation of that. They take our intellectual property collectively for granted.
I'll jump on a group with maybe 80, 90 people in it, and I'll do an AMA. And I will see, or one of my clients will do an AMA. You see movement in the charts. People get behind it because you don't get into these AMAs unless these guys are OGs. They've got money, unless you're worth getting in. But then again, I see these AMAs with 180,000 people in them and 600 people in an AMA, and you get nowhere. And to me, having the eyes and ears of 50, 100 people is far better than having the eyes and the ears of 1,000 bots. And anyone can bot their accounts, but the real guys that are going, do you know what? We refuse to. If you're not a real person, we're not interested, and we don't care whether people think we got big numbers or small numbers.
Right.
And that was really what I respected about these guys over here. Whether you've got 200 followers or 20,000, it's, well, you're doing it the right way.
It's about adding value, and that's where the plus comes from.
Yeah,
I love it.
And again, I know that these guys are very, very they're great, but they don't shield their own their own platform. And every time I jump here, I always say to everyone, guys, if anyone's not got that plus before your name, if you want that kudos, add the plus. And you'll be surprised over a course of time, people go, whoa, you got the plus. And that will be the talking point in other groups. I see you've got the plus. Yeah, I'm part of the community of communities. And I love it. I think it's brilliant. No charge, just solid communities supporting other strong communities. And
But have you
so
got a page in the book? That's the question.
I just wanted to say that if you guys didn't, I'm always there to to jump in and say it.
Thank you, Nathan. Honestly, it really does mean a lot, and you absolutely hit the nail on the head in regards of what it represents. It's a way that we can all represent each other, without having to sacrifice your profile picture or your name, because that's what this is about. For example, supporting amazing ecosystems like yours, Wesley. With these IVNs, and really helping you guys put that out to the world and showcase that to people, and like Bacon was saying as well, the plus, it represents adding value and being of value regardless of what your skill set is, whether you just enjoy being a part of the community, whether you're building, whether you're creating content, it all adds value. And I appreciate you pointing it out as well, Nathan, about we don't bot our accounts, and because we've not got 200,000 followers, we do get overlooked. But when people do dive deeper and look at the networks and the combination of followings that we have between all of us, then the numbers are actually there, and they're not bots either. So we do really appreciate it. And yeah, we don't always like shill our own thing, if you will, but the plus does represent Web3 and community and working together to help build each other up, because we don't have to fight for that top spot when we can all work together and strengthen each other's networks. So much love for that, Nathan. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's great. I added the plus to my name just now.
Let's
So
go.
Oh, you absolute legend.
Let's go. What a legend. Nice one, bro.
Let's
Let's
go.
go. That's epic. Love it. It just, honestly, it's epic. And it's amazing to see so many people come together. And it's epic for so many reasons, because when you've got that plus on your name, everyone who has that plus is representing you, and you're representing them. And and as that spreads and people see what it's about, and then they come and look at us and see what we're all doing, people love it, because they see that it's genuine, great projects, genuinely building things that are making an actual difference in the Web3 space. So yeah, big love for that, Wes. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys inviting me and having us over here. It's been a great conversation. I'm
bowled over, and I'm very happy that you guys are have managed to link up and jump in here. As I said to you, Wes, wherever I go, I talk about the projects I support and the people I support, and I'll drop them into conversations all day long. So you guys were someone that I really wanted to get in here, but Mickey or whoever it was Meta Builders, someone beat me to it and invited you in before I was able to set it
Trip.
up.
Trip here, Token Trip has been he's been amazing. This guy's a machine.
Legend in the community.
I've got to take my hat off to Trip. He's a superstar in this space.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Trip, you're a legend, bro. And I just want to touch on that for a second because you've always been a legend, always working hard, always supporting all the ecosystems that you engage with. And, you know, it's thanks to you that we came across FateLabz, another amazing ecosystem. And that's how this works. And Wes, I've just seen your plus show up. That's epic. But that's the beauty of this, and the beauty of collaboration and working together is that these things happen because we're all trying to build each other up and lift each other up and support each other. And when you find multiple amazing ecosystems and projects and people and they come together, only magic can happen, because we're not out here trying to outdo each other or outperform each other. We're trying to lift each other up, and we just continuously win because of that. So, you know, this is just makes me so passionate and motivated, and, you know, super grateful for the way that you guys come together and just create magic like this.
Can I also say, and again, I don't want to pull this away from FateLabz because it's an immense project, but can I also say there's the one thing that these guys do here is they have a space once a week based on mental health within crypto. And if anyone here has any hard times, jump into this room on the day they're doing like a let's come in and talk. And this is a really hard space for people to work
Even
in.
if it's not the day, you know, there should be someone available to jump in and have a chat.
But we have huge ups, but then again, huge downs. There are huge mental health issues, people that are struggling every single day. Anyone here listening, if you've got any issues, jump in here. I promise you there is someone to listen and DM you and go, let's jump on a call. Let's have a chat. And hat off to you guys. I super respect that. We've all been there at some stage. So again, it's not just about passing communities around communities. It's about let's look after the well-being of each other as well as the industry as a whole. So if that wasn't mentioned, I just want to drop that in case anyone is having a bit of a hard time. It's a tough space. It's full of ups and huge downs, and having people you can talk to at the end of a phone that aren't going to judge, they're going to go, I know where you're coming from. I think that's a huge thing. So off to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. And if anyone is ever interested in doing that, we do that every Tuesday at the 9 p.m. UK time. Everything we do is at 9 p.m. UK time, and we do that in our Telegram group. And if anyone wants to find that, the pinned post on my profile in the comment section, our Telegram link is there. Or if anyone wants it, DM me. I'll ping it over to you. But yeah, every Tuesday we do that. We did used to do it in a Twitter space, but we were getting a lot of people that was joining, and they was basically trolling and pretending and saying silly stuff. So we thought it would be a more safer environment to do it in our Telegram group. So yeah, thank you for pointing it out, Nathan. But yeah, like Bacon said, you know, you could reach out to anyone anytime, and we're always more than happy to speak to people, because, you know, mental health's a real thing in any industry, but in this one predominantly, you know, people do get hit hard in many ways. So yeah, every Tuesday, 9 p.m. UK time in our Telegram group, we always run a space for mental health. You know, if you just want to talk, if you just want to listen, regardless of what that is, you know, we really appreciate it. And thank you for putting these things out as well, because, you know, we don't benefit from any of these things that we do financially. A lot of people in the networks do benefit from collaborations and partnerships and selling NFTs and, you know, getting the projects out there. We have created our own project, which is an NFT book, it is a way that we can potentially benefit financially. I'll just quickly touch on that real quick. So we have an NFT book that's been beautifully put together by Mike Smart from Meta Builders, and it basically is a collaboration project. The plan is to have a digital and a physical version of the book. We're aiming to get 100 communities to collaborate on a book and the reasoning is because if we can get 100 projects to purchase a page in the book, which we're doing a series of 10 books. The first book, it's 150 Matic to purchase a double page spread, and you will be able to put your NFT character in a story that we're going to be writing. And we want to try and get 100 communities to come together to collaborate on one project that showcases everybody. And the way that our project works is we're basically utilizing our networks to try and get maximum exposure for projects with a lowest barrier to entry humanly possible. We are going to be putting the NFT book in the crypto magazine because it is a global entity. It's purchasable in 23 countries globally. We absolutely love Crypto Magazine and fully support them, the team, the community, because they are completely genuine, transparent, and an amazing ecosystem. And we love how community driven they really are. And they have supported us incredibly, and we're eternally grateful for that. You can completely see that everything they do is for the betterment of the industry. Same as Meta Builders, they are a fully kitted out Web3 service providing ecosystem. We're super grateful to have these guys around us. They really do strengthen everything that we do, and they have done incredible things in this industry. And to be able to have absolute beasts like these guys working alongside us really enables us to do things literally on a global scale. So yeah, if anyone wants to get involved in the NFT book, do reach out. We will speak about it in any way you need to. You can check out all the information on our website, which is also on my pinned post. It's just communityofcommunities.world, and you can find all the information you need to. We also have some articles that have been written by Mike Smart as well that really breaks down the entire project and everything inside of it. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to me spiel on about that a little bit. I just wanted to try and throw that in there, so thank you so much.
If you can send me to, sorry Wes, I didn't mean to talk over you. If you can send me your the wallet address, kind of, or Mike can send me the wallet address. I'll book 2 pages now, and I'll send you across the Matic in the next 15-20 minutes.
Let's go. That's awesome. Nice one, Nathan. Legend. Let's go. That is awesome. Appreciate it.
I was going to say, if you want to mint your book as an IVN, I'm 100% confident we could do something with that.
There's an idea.
Definitely a conversation we need to have for sure. 100%. Thank you, Ian.
Because that's like gamifying the book as well. People can read the book, collect bounties or attempt to get bounties. I mean, there's a lot of different things we could do with that, bro.
Oh, that is epic and super exciting. Yeah, no, thank you so much. That is awesome, because that is literally the goal behind this, is to really, bring our efforts together and work on something that we can, as a multitude of communities, really, showcase to the world and support. And as you can imagine, if we can get 100 communities to work together on one thing that showcases everyone, you can only imagine the reach and the impact that we can really have with that. So no, that's super exciting. Thank you, Ian.
And if you want to market the IVN version of the book, yeah, I'm your man.
Exactly.
I can help you out.
Yeah, let's go. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, let us know. And also, I've got, I think as well, I've just taken over this project. It's a game. It comes out in December. It's already had 2 million spent on it. I've just bought a quarter share of the company. So within that game, there are rooms that you can walk in and pick up certain aspects. So maybe we can talk on that, having someone actually picking up that book and purchasing it through various rooms.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. Nice one, Nathan. So exciting. Proper gets me motivated. I love it. I'm definitely not sleeping tonight now.
It looks like I've got I've actually managed to stay without being cut off for the last 20 minutes, which I'm really happy with. So, but if I do get cut off, thank you ever so much, Rev, for holding this. Meta Builders, thanks for Trip for pulling in FateLabz. FateLabz have my full support. They will be in the magazine on the next issue. And I want to make a big thing and draw so much attention to what they're doing. It's unbelievable. I was actually telling Wes, and he'll verify this. I was gutted. The day they launched, I was due to be buying their token, and unfortunately, I was in meetings, and the next day, and it was going up and up and up. And I said to Wes, like, I'm going to wait for a dip. I'm just going to wait for a dip, and there hasn't been one. So I'm going, do you know what? I'm just going to I'm just going to go and buy. I'm just going to buy the token now. So
I mean, there's a bit of a dip. It's not much, but there's a bit of a dip.
Well, it's in all fairness. I mean, like the David airdrop now. I told him about you guys, and he's a huge supporter. And that guy's so well connected in this industry. I mean, well connected. He says it as it is, but he's a brilliant guy. And I was saying to him, look, I'm looking at integrating IVNs into what I'm building out as our ecosystem. And he said, do you know what? I'm glad you said that. I'm doing the same. And I think the more this spreads, and it's not about what you know, from your perspective, it's about what you know. But from our perspective, it's who you know. Just keep spreading this word to bigger people. I mean, we've got Trip here. This dude's working with Kevin Hart and a multitude of other celebrities. And these content creators, and David Airdrop, who's working with everyone, and all of our networks. This can only move to the next level. It's all about going, look, let's all stick together, move as one unit. And when we do that, we make the space a better place, and we make our projects far stronger through moving as one unit. Well, hence the community of communities. I wished I'd thought of the concept.
It is a great concept. I like the if you get the plus, you're one of us mantra there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Well, we're all a part of it now, so it's as good as everyone's, and that's the beauty of it.
I love it. Thanks for holding the space, Mick, and everyone else. It's been immense.
Yeah, thank you. And as always, I know I always say it, but a massive shout out to the communities team as well. You know, we have a core team of 10 working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from all over the world. And, you know, we couldn't do this without the amazing team and the time and energy and effort that they put in. You know, I know everyone who has projects and ecosystems all have teams of people, and you guys all know the hours you put in, the sleep you sacrifice. And, you know, I can see more people have added the plus as well, and we do truly appreciate it. You know, together we are so stronger. And like Nathan was saying, you know, us working together like this only strengthens everything that we do. And, you know, having legends like Trip, you're working with, you know, celebrities, and Nathan running the amazing, largest crypto publication in the world, you know, just strengthens everything that we do. And the more we support each other, the stronger we get. And yeah, I'm glad that you love the ethos that if you've got the plus, you're one of us, you know, and it's welcome to everyone. And, you know, everyone's more than welcome to support, and we can work together and really achieve some amazing things.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely appreciate you having us out on your space today. It's been a really great discussion and really interesting community, and you definitely expect to hear and see a lot more from us.
Yeah, thank you. And the feeling is certainly mutual, definitely. And you'll definitely be seeing us everywhere we can possibly be. But yeah, I mean, if there's more that you want to touch on, because I know how in depth this is, then I'm more than happy to carry on. You know, you guys have got some amazing things you've been working on, and I'm not so sure if you was all the way through it just yet. So if you want to dive deeper, I'm all about it.
I mean, we've pretty much covered a lot of what we're doing. I mean, a lot of the stuff we're still building. We're still kind of hashing out different things. You know, we do have some betas out like 3Pay. You know, anybody here that hasn't set up a 3Pay account, go check it out. You know, get your account set up so that you can be part of the ecosystem. That doesn't cost anything. You can start kind of seeing the advantages. You know, join our Telegram group. I'm literally always in VC. I'm there 16 to 18 hours a day. A lot of our core team is also around pretty frequently. So we're always around to discuss and answer questions and help people figure out what we're doing. So if anybody wants to come check us out, they can find a link on the website or on my profile. There's lots of ways to get to our group.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And again, you know, thank you so much for your time tonight. We really appreciate you diving into what you've been doing, and you know, really appreciate what you've actually created. I think it's revolutionary, and you know, we feel really appreciative that we get to see this at this stage. And you know, this is something that's definitely going to change the game, in my opinion. So you know, we'll look forward to supporting that definitely. And I will also do a tweet after this space as well, and post out your details as well. And if anyone later on down the line, or if anyone's listening to this as a podcast on YouTube later down the line, if anyone wants any of the information of the projects and of Wesley's ecosystem, do reach out. My name is thyrevolution.eth on all socials, so always able to push out people's information to anyone who needs to receive it. So yeah, no, thank you so much, Wesley, and to your team as well, Ian and what's is it Demac Live?
Vlad, DMAC
DMAC
Live.
Live, yeah.
Yeah, those are the two that are in with us right now.
Before you cut off, Rev, and I'm looking forward to the going out song. I always love it. But Wes and Ian, I'm talking to Rev about setting up between us a huge space involving a few celebrities, a few huge communities, and getting this pumping in the thousands on one group. Would you guys be available? And do you think you could kind of round up what an IVN is in like a 15-20 minute slot?
Yeah, no, absolutely, we can figure that out. Yeah, we're always working on how to simplify the explanation of what an IVN is.
I was actually talking to Craig about this the other day, and he's saying it's very, and especially from your perspective and Ian's as well, you're very technical based, whereas I'm not. I'm very kind of just simplifying is what I do. You have to simplify things for the general. And I said to Craig that literally the way I explain this is like it's liquidity for NFTs. That's the simplest way I can explain it. And that kind of says anything. What? Liquidity for NFTs? Yeah, you're not reliant on what someone's willing to pay. It has a value. And I think that's the simplest way to explain it.
I mean, I envision it as an encapsulated NFT because you're encapsulating, external value and then minting that to represent the value behind it.
After tonight, I suppose I'll go, it's the bricks and mortar of the crypto space. It's the value.
No, I'd 100% agree with that.
No, it's brilliant. But I'm not going to say anymore because I'll sit here and keep you guys chatting for eternity. I can talk the hind legs off a donkey, so I'm going to be quiet now and absolutely fantastic. You guys are here, and Rev and Bacon, everyone else, Doglins, all you amazing people. Tone, sorry I haven't been around very recently, but I've had my plate full. but I wanted to jump in for the FateLabz one, and I'm sorry I was an hour late, but I'm here. Fashionably
Yeah,
late.
don't worry. Never need to be sorry. We totally get it. You know, we know you're working hard in the background, and you know we're here to support. We totally get it. You know, Web3 is a tough place, and what you're doing is absolute revolutionary. And you're literally on the front line, and you're doing an amazing job, Nathan. So all the hours of sleep you've lost and all the effort you put in is certainly appreciated and supported by us. And I hope you know that. I think you know that. And you know, we ain't going nowhere. We're always going to be here. As we always say, you know, we're here if you need us and we're here if you don't. But regardless, we're always here.
No, and to touch on that, Crypto Magazine is the greatest thing out there. Anyone who doesn't read it should be every single day. Go get one. Go get them all. They're absolutely legendary. And Nathan is an absolute legend in the space, dude.
Well said.
Cheers.
Said the legend himself.
We're all sitting here massaging each other's egos. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we need it. You know, everyone in our real life thinks we're crazy. So yeah, no, it's good, but
Because we are.
yeah, we are, and I'm glad. Yeah, definitely. The crazier we are, the more on the right path that we're on. So, no, yeah, we are going to bring the space to an end, but super appreciate all of you guys and the support and the effort you're all putting into all the things that you're building, and you're all doing an amazing job at putting it out there to the world as well. You know, people never really think about the public speaking side of things. It's definitely a very difficult thing to do. It's also very difficult to build these ecosystems, and the amount of things that is involved in all of the things that you guys do is phenomenal. You know, the networking in the background, the phone calls, the you know, the programming, the social media side of things, content, all of the things in the background that people will never see requires every second of every day. There is just not enough time, and you guys somehow pull it off, as well as being, you know, workers, husbands, you know, fathers, you know, mums, whatever, you know, whatever gender you are. You know, everyone's got a lot going on in the real life as well. So to factor all this in as well is just absolutely mind blowing. So mad love, mad respect. You know, super appreciate everybody. So if anyone has any final quotes they'd like to add before we play out on Tracy Chapman, now's your time to have your final say.
But yeah, I'll just thank you one more time for having us out. It's been a great conversation, a lot of great people. Trip, thank you very much for hooking us up. And Nathan, for your
Absolutely.
kind words, and everybody for your kind words. Again, you can easily just find us if you have any further questions, but it's been great. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really glad this got to happen. Rev has hosted me a couple of times for Kevin Hart, for Bad Empire, for Cyberspace, you know, and he's done an amazing job. So, you know, I wanted to make sure that this happened as well, because Fate is doing some big stuff out there, and the IVNs are going to change how everybody does NFTs forever if everybody gets on board. Like, if everyone was to jump onto the system, theoretically, you could actually change the entire world from the ground up right now for all of blockchain forever.
100%.
Yeah, definitely, and thank you for your kind words, Trip, and for connecting us to these amazing people as well. You know, we super appreciate it. I just want to get Tricky up before we do end the space, because I've been trying to get him up for the last 5 minutes, and he's finally been able to come up as speaker. Massive shout out to Tricky as well, who is always co-hosting with us, and Bacon, amazing co-hosts, always on point, always supporting, and like I said, the team were relentless in the background. You know, Z3, Crypto Talk, Miss Evie, Mike, Christian Abbott, Trey, Coops. There's so many in the team. It's hard to mention them all. And even though I've been speaking to them over 2 years solid every single day, even when they're on holiday and at work, there's still a lot of names to mention. But yeah, Tricky, how you doing, brother?
Hey fam, it's Tricky Buddha from DeFi Space Donkeys. Happy to join you guys. Happy Saturday, everyone. I've been busy as hell, just running around trying to get everything matched up. We've got a lot of progress with our charity for the Wild World of Dragons, and yeah, we're sending out some tea packages here pretty soon. So yeah, I'm just messing with all that stuff, but happy to drop in and see all these legends. Look at all these pluses. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Good to see. How you doing, Bacon? Rev?
How you doing, Trick?
Doing good. Doing good.
Just on a final note, I think I've said just on a final note several times this evening. I just can't help talk. I need someone just to kind of hold my mouth. But on a final night, knowing that we've got a huge amount of content creators here, imagine the gravity of creating content for FateLabz and IVN, and then in 6 months, in 9 months, in 12 months, go, guys, look at this video I made. I discovered IVNs way before anyone else. So that has a huge benefit for any content creator to go, look, I discovered these first, and it's there on social media for everyone to see. Just saying.
Definitely. I have. I actually have a video in my drafts on TikTok when I spoke to you and Trip about it for the first time. But I thought, you know what, I want to wait till we've had them in a space. I've learnt more about it, and I've learnt more about them as well, just so I can articulate the content in a way that better highlights you guys on the team that have created this and really built it up, so that I can make sure that not only can we credit you guys in the right way, but also point anyone that's interested in it in the right direction as well.
The thing I love about what you guys do as content creators is you're not kind of phased by cash. And it's very easy to be in this space to be phased by cash. Look, I'll pay you $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 if you can do that. But it's about, and I started my career in marketing with Rupert Murdoch and running the business to business department. And I was vetting these multi-level marketing kind of concepts, but they were all earning money. The guys at the top earned a fortune, the guys at the bottom earned next to nothing. And my job was kind of to see how genuine they were and whether we was going to allow them to be part of the News International and News Corp family, if you like. And so I really get the benefit of one person, even if you've only got 20 people listening, one person that tells 20 people, and those 20 people tell 10, and those 10 tell 2, and those 2 tell 100. That's huge. Within a matter of weeks and months, something can be global just through 16 or 20 people believing in something. It's huge. So it's I'm definitely 100% behind the FateLabz concept, and everyone here knows I only put my name behind things that I believe has longevity. Not 6 months, not a year, but 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And I think I'll be sitting down at one stage saying to my grandkids, you know, those IVNs that you're holding, you know, look here, look at my social media from 40 years ago. I was the first one to spot them. So anyone that's creating content, bear that in mind. It benefits in multiple ways.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad you touched on that as well, because you know, because I've been so fortunate enough to get over 25,000 followers on TikTok and around 7 million views on my hashtag. I have had a lot of people offer me money to make content, and I've turned all of it down strictly for that reason, because I don't want to discredit the projects I talk about through passion. And I always say, when it comes to the making content side of things, that I don't do it for pay, I do it for passion, because I would never discredit the projects that, you know, we believe in as the communities by, you know, taking payment to make content. You know, we want to make money legitimately in the right ways, you know, through services and products, not from being only talking about something because we're paid to. So I do really appreciate you mentioning that, because you know, you're absolutely right. And the reason I've managed to accumulate a following like that is just simply through support from genuine people, not botted accounts, you know. And it does make all the difference, because when you do get 10 people support you, that then becomes 20, then 100, then 1,000, and you'd rather have 1,000 loyal followers that showcase your content than having 1 million followers and only 100. So you're absolutely on point with that, Nathan. It's almost like you're actually in marketing. It's almost
Yeah,
Like he's
I
got
know.
some inside knowledge.
I'm just saying I know very little about marketing, but I mean, I'm clutching at straws here. I'm just assuming this is the way to move forward.
Always great to hear from you, Nathan. Always. I love your demeanor, love your attitude, and absolutely, we need more genuine people in this spot. I love that, you know, you're about a real organic growth, because that's sustainable. You know, absolutely. Doesn't matter if you have millions and millions of followers if no one's interacting and no one's sharing it to their friends, and then their friends aren't sharing it. 6 degrees of separation. You know, everyone in the world can get it if you got the right followers.
Do you know what, Tricky? I was that was tricky, by the way, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go. I would have sounded like a complete idiot if you went, that's not me. But I spoke on issue 1. I was having a conversation with, I'd comfortably say, a top 5 exchange, the owner and his team. And they were from India. And the first thing they said is, I'm sorry, I don't think we can get behind the magazine because your social media following is so small. And I went, seriously? I said, how many do you have on social media? Twitter. And they told me. And I said, how many are bots? And they went, no, 96, 97%. They were bought. I said, so what you're saying is my followers being completely organic, complete real people, you're saying that you need a high, oh, well, you do. And I'm saying this is where you're going wrong. 5 issues later, they're on the phone saying, okay, we see what you're doing. How can we get involved with the magazine? I'll go, well, hang about. 5 months ago, and I actually turned them away for that particular issue. And Colin has said to me, well, why have you done that? I said, I'm just trying to prove a point. They've been stuck in this crypto kind of mentality of it's all about numbers. People need to see big numbers. No, they don't. It's about the people that are listening. It's not about the amount of people that people see. And this is where you kind of change people's views. It doesn't matter whether you've got 1 million followers. And I was speaking to an influencer not too long ago, and I won't mention his name. A couple of you could probably guess who it was. But he has 1 million followers. But you look at a lot of our retweets and likes with 5,000 followers, and it's so much more than their retweets and likes. But you look at their retweets and likes, and they're all botted retweets and botted likes. And I'm saying, are we not proving our point? In order for any marketing to work, you have to access real people. And if you're not accessing real people, you might as well save your money and not spend it.
Yeah, you're absolutely on point. And it's funny how, you know, you're only kidding yourself by, you know, cheating the system and, you know, botting your accounts, because you are actually going to achieve nothing. And, you know, people do overlook, you know, people with smaller followings for that reason, because they don't realize that, you know, like you said, your tweets are much more impactful because it's being retweeted by genuine people who then have that post that they retweeted by genuine people, rather than it just being retweeted once by a bot that's never going to reach anything. So it is really interesting.
I've always said likes they're nice, they're great, they're brilliant, but it's retweets that count. And I'd rather be retweeted by 10 people, each with 200 real followers, than be retweeted by a bot with 5 followers. And I have a whole team dedicated to looking at what groups are genuine and what groups aren't, and what bots are actually retweeting. And a lot of these bots all follow each other. So it's a bot retweeting to a bot that's retweeting to a bot, and they all retweet within the same, but it has zero value, absolutely nothing. And for anyone here, I can add you 20,000 followers in 48 hours. They're not going to be real people, but I can do it, and I can probably do it for about $1,000. But what's the point in doing it? Why do it?
Exactly.
It makes no sense to me.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know, I've had people join our Telegram and be like, "Oh, there's only 140 odd people in there. I thought there'd be, you know, way more than that," and they've left. And I've been like, "Look, you know," and this isn't a brag by any means. It's just to prove the point. I was like, "Yeah, but if you look at who's in that group, it's not the communities, it's the founders. You know, it's NFT project founders with tens of thousands of genuine followers. It's, you know, the CEO of the largest crypto publication in the world. It's a Marvel writer that's been the, you know, best-selling comic writer for Marvel for the last 5 weeks straight. Who works and lives in Hollywood. Who's business partners in the Black Eyed Peas. You know, it's animators that have been animating for Pixar and Disney for 2 decades. You know, it's genuine people that are really successful in the industry.
And this is how these projects get noticed. It's not about who, like, I know CZ, he subscribes to the magazine. I know he does. He's tweeted about it. I know KuCoin does. The CEO of KuCoin, I know Brian Armstrong from Coinbase. I know he does. I know, I mean, I don't know who it was. I think it was either yourself or Pete, Compound King, that had said with Guy from Coin Bureau and said, "Have you heard of the crypto magazine?" And he said, "Yeah, I have. I bought it in Dubai from the store the other day. Really interesting read." We know these people read the magazine, and we know who's kind of following us and who isn't. So it's about the attention you bring to a project from the right people, not the masses. It's the right people. And Tripp, Kevin Hart, and all of these guys. And I can probably say that everyone sitting in this room, Miss Eve, Crypto Tone, Pete, Compound King, Rev, Bacon, Tricky, all of these guys, Zakilla, I've just spotted. Hey, Zach. But all of these guys, they're worth 1,000 of most other people. And that's what's important. And this is where I think the crypto space needs to move. It's about, let's share this among the right people and not just the masses. Slowly but surely, we're getting that thought process across. If you know the right people are looking at you, we're in the top 100 hotels in the world. I know our magazine has been in front of Cathie Wood, owns the largest Bitcoin hedge fund on the planet. I know Elon Musk is aware of the magazine. We've had meetings with him and Eric. All of these people. So it's about, and I suppose it's the old philosophy, is it's not what you know, it's who you know. But that works to a certain extent. But ultimately, if in a year's time you see a few huge names, just having that plus, people will start to ask, what's this plus about? And that's when things will go parabolic. When Pete told me about you guys and what you were doing, I said, what a brilliant idea. He said, well, they've only got a few numbers. Don't care. It's irrelevant because those people are backed by many people. There's probably access to more people in this group as we stand, more real people than there is on any group that has 30, 40,000 followers.
Yeah, we call them legends. That's what we call them around our way.
But I'm happy to be called a leg end, spelt the same.
No, absolutely. But no, you're absolutely right, and you know that's what we've always tried to do with with the plus is try to use our networks to help each other, so that as people support and become involved in a part of it, is that they get access to that network, and that's one thing we've always tried to do. We've never tried to be like, oh, look at us, look at what we've got. It's more of a case of, let's work together and let's lift each other up. And
did you see how Danny and Kian from Up Next Crypto?
No, what do you mean? Oh, I don't know if I've lost you, Nathan.
They then started charging $10,000 for a YouTube video. What? And it completely and utterly kind of downgraded. And don't get me wrong, they probably earned a couple of million over the course of a 12-month period in the last bull run. But now no one values their word and what they call, because they're calling it because they're paid to call it. They're now not calling it because they believe in it. I gave them 2 or 3 projects and they went, yeah, no problem, we do that. $10,000 a video. But within 2 seconds of the video landing, they had 36,000 views. And you go, well, Danny, how have we got 36,000? Oh, no. We buy the 36 or 36 or 32 it was, but we buy them. So we start with that. I said, but in 2 seconds, how do you expect anyone to actually believe what you're saying? And then by the time they finished, the video's only got 38,000 views. You go, well, so there's only really 2,000 people that have seen it. And you've just charged $10,000. You guys, you do a video, I guarantee you there's 50, 60, 70,000 people that would see it between you all, having fractions of the numbers. I think they had like 2 million followers. And they just lost track, but now they're struggling. No one wants to use their services because they don't put anything out there that people listen to. People have to listen to what you've got to say and have trust in what you've got to say for it to have any worth to anyone.
Yeah, you're absolutely right with that. And it's like when what you was talking about before with Coin Bureau, I actually asked him in his live if he'd read the crypto magazine, and he said that he had. He bought it from a bookshop in Dubai, and he enjoyed it. He thought it was a really good read. And I obviously screen recorded it, and we uploaded it onto Twitter, didn't we? And it got something like 30-odd thousand views of actual views.
To me, that's the strength. That's the strength, is saying, well, okay, no one's bought those views. That's 30,000 people that have seen it. And not only that, the projects that were in that issue, whether he bought any more or not, they all know, well, we were in front of the Coin Bureau and CZ and Brian Armstrong and all of these guys. And to me, that's real marketing. get in front of real people, whether it be 3, 4, 5, 10 people. If I only ever produced 100 copies and put them in front of the top 100 people in crypto, that would be worth more than any AMA that you could ever pay for. And that's what I love about what you guys do. It's about, well, we're going to talk about what we believe in, and we will share that with our 500 followers, with our 1,000 followers, with our, and
Oh, you're breaking up, Crypto Magazine.
We are approximately an hour over our usual time, but we're always happy to.
I'm always happy to keep it going if we can hear him. I think he lagged out a little bit. Hopefully he's not still talking.
yeah,
But there you go. You hear it from Crypto Magazine. You know, my pin tweet has been seen almost 8,000 times. That's worth like 20 grand.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no.
you've got a vacuum cleaner. You don't call it a vacuum cleaner. You go, I bought a new Hoover. Now, the Hoover you've bought is probably a Dyson or a Shark or a Kirby or whatever. A Hoover is a brand name. But people use that as a kind of explanation. I think this is something that FateLabz have kind of really got that could be huge. That whole IVN, they've created that brand, IVN. And then
What you're talking about is an old term called top of mind. It's an old marketing term.
yeah,
And what
yeah,
it means is what's the first thing you think of when you think of something? Like if you think of a picture, a Kodak moment is another example of that kind of branding or that kind of strength behind a word.
yeah.
Google, that became a verb. So when brands become identifiable, or when some naming convention becomes identifiable as the thing, doesn't even matter how many categories of that thing come out, they still all end up sharing that same kind of classification.
But it's something that's really hard to get that
Top of
phrase, that
mind. Yeah, it's a challenge. It's absolutely one of the big challenges
really,
that business has.
it is super hard. But with that whole IVN, I genuinely believe in a couple of years it will be a thing. And it was like, is that an IVN? Is that NFT an IVN? No, it's not. Okay, I'm not interested. Well, what's an IVN? Oh, IVNs was created by FateLabz. This is what they do. And that's branding. That's clever branding. Do you know what I mean, Wes?
Absolutely. I mean, my hope is that it becomes that. I mean, obviously, we talk about it, and it all sounds great. It's a whole other thing to make it actually happen, to execute on that and continue executing on that. But that's the end objective, absolutely.
Oh, it's to me, with what you guys are doing, I don't see that as a really tricky thing to do. There's so many brands that have done it over the years. I don't see it, and I talk to people and I go, "Have you heard of an IVN?" They go, "No, what's an IVN?" Yeah, well, this is what an IVN is. They go, brilliant. But what they're not thinking is, well, you've created that IVN. I'm not saying, have you heard of a FateLabz IVN? It's just, have you heard of an IVN? No, I haven't. Well, this is what an IVN is. Whoa, I love that concept. If that... Yeah. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, the WTF as an IVN is a great entry point for anybody. It catches them. They want to learn more about it. It's kind of it's just the entry point, right? So if you can find a catchy way to bring people in with a question, and then provide the answer, obviously, that's kind of the goal, right?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the same. When you're the first, not the first to do it, because I'm sure there's others that have done similar things previously. But when you're the first to take it to a global market, you position yourself in that space, like Hoover did. There was other vacuum cleaners, but I can guarantee most people here will go, "Can you grab the Hoover?" But I'm pretty certain that only 5% of what the people are picking up are actually made by Hoover. It's just not. They're probably a Dyson or a Shark or a Kirby but they still relate to them as Hoover because that was the first kind of vacuum cleaner brand. Yeah, you with me?
Absolutely, that's that top of mind. You know, when you ask people what kind of sneakers they want, they're like, Nike, Reebok. There's staples that will always keep reoccurring because those brands have top of mind.
Yeah, it just makes sense. But I think IVNs have that brand capacity, that brand capability to be able to actually coin that phrase. And that's what I said to you earlier was IVN. And I was pretty certain because I said to someone that I'm sure they've coined that phrase IVN. I'm sure it was created by FateLabz. And someone said, I don't think it was. I've heard IVNs before. But that's exactly what you want people to say. You want them to feel that, okay, IVN is like EVM or BSC or whatever. You know where it started.
Right, and we had a lot of name branding or name brainstorming sessions, and we tried all kinds of different acronyms and digital asset all kinds of interesting concepts. But the intrinsically valued NFT or non-fungible token, I mean, the intrinsic value is really at the heart of what we were trying to do. So that became the paramount part of the whole system, and it made perfect sense to call it IVN. The moment that we did that I came up with it, I knew that was it, versus any other acronym that we had at the time.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, and I'm sure that will definitely catch on. And I'm looking forward to you guys getting the credit for creating such an amazing thing that just screams revolutionary to me. You've done a great job of that, definitely. But on that note, we are going to bring the space to an end. We are super grateful for everyone turning up. What an amazing space it's been. We're super thankful for all the support. We appreciate you guys adding the plus. That is epic. The community grows ever stronger because of it. So thank you so much for that. Shout out to Child Support Global as well, who just recently joined. Another amazing project. Definitely got to get you guys back on one of our spaces soon. And yeah, definitely if you want to know any more about these communities or these ecosystems, I will be tweeting out some more information, and you can reach out to anyone who has a plus, and it can always point you into the right direction. As always, we leave on the same song that we enter with, and then we will end the space. So thank you so much, everyone. These are absolute legends. And on that note, I will play us out to the one and only Tracy Chapman, talking about a revolution. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
We might be having technical.
Thanks again, guys. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Yes, sir. Make sure you're following all the legends in the space, and we will see you on the next one.
All right, I'll sing it. Talking about a revolution.
Yeah, the song will play in a minute. I think we're having technical difficulties.
The technical difficulty is he hasn't got the YouTube Plus or whatever it is to get rid of the annoying adverts.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Right. Let me mute it for the advert.
All right. Yeah, great turnout, everyone. Love seeing all the pluses. This is always a good space, and it's always great to talk more with Nathan and just meet more founders and builders in the community. Absolute legends.
Yeah, well said, Tricky. And nice one for jumping in, bro. I know you've been super busy recently, and we appreciate it. And massive congratulations on the influx of followers that you've got. Definitely deserved. And yeah, please, if you want to support anyone, drop these guys a follow, show them some support. They're active, building every single day. And we now have volume, so I will now play this song. So thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the song, and we will definitely catch you in the next one.